Thank you.
How are you doing? Good. Yeah, just, working and raising kids.
They're pretty much raised now.
I think they're almost paid off. I'm close to it.
It does surprise you tomorrow.
Yeah.
They're never
They never do.
Don't say that.
Oh, well, thank you, Ms. Andrews, for being with us today.
Sure.
Really glad. You know everyone here?
I don't know.
Wendell Williams.
Wendell Williams.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Christine Andrews.
Okay. No, you stay busy.
Absolutely.
And so we're talking about the zoning board of adjustments. Can you serve on that one, Nicole?
Yes.
Okay, good. We just got very few questions.
Okay.
And just more of a dialogue, just trying to get to know each other and see about your interests and so forth. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and just start with the questions. And it's very simple. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in serving on this board.
So I'm an engineer, and we've been in this area since 1991. We started our engineering firm in 1996, and we just really believe in giving back to the community. And I feel like my service with my engineering background can help by serving on some of the boards for the state of Temple. So that's pretty simple.
Well, thank you. Yes, no, it's very important. What we're finding, so many people with so much talent and expertise, really appreciate your time and interest. And you kind of already answered it, but what skills, talents, or expertise specifically would you bring to the position on this board?
On this particular board, it would be just my engineering background, my interest in, we own 2 buildings that we've modified and brought up to, from some dilapidated buildings. So I have a passion for seeing ugly things become beautiful.
And you've done that. You've really, where you are, you've helped change so much. Begin to set the tone that we hope for.
Well, thank you. So I feel like having had some experience in the construction background and also from an engineering perspective, and then I have a master's degree, and that it did in pursuing my thesis. It taught me to look at things analytically, and I feel like bringing that to the table would be helpful in this particular board position.
And it's not easy to do, so I can imagine. Yeah. Okay, what specifically would you like to accomplish being on the board? You've served before, so, right?
Right. I don't know that I had any particular goals set forth. I don't really come with an agenda, and I just want to look at what's presented to us, what's recommended by the city staff, and give my input with my experience and expertise.
Okay, great.
Spoken like a true engineer.
Do anybody else have any questions?
I don't.
So, do you have any questions for us?
No, but I do want to sincerely apologize because last week I was ill, and I was just starting to feel bad, and I thought if I lay down, I'll feel better. And then I got really sick with that stomach bug, and when I got up, I was like, oh my goodness, I totally missed, and that's uncharacteristic of me. If you know me, you know that I don't just not show up without a phone call, and so I really apologize for missing that last week.
You understand?
Sure.
And
Did you apply for another board?
I think I set several boards on there. One would be the Airport Advisory Board, and that's because my family is in aviation now, and I'm a pilot. And Abby just earned her pilot certificate.
Nice. So cool.
Is this your first choice to be on a zoning board?
I don't remember if I listed as my first choice. I don't think I did. I think I might have listed the airport, but I just want to help serve in this community. So if that's where you need me, that's where you need me, and I'm be happy to do that.
Just because you're being interviewed for this board, we're not bringing you back for an airport interview because we've already done it.
Okay.
So if you're still eligible for any of the boards that you applied for.
Well, my passion is, I love the aviation industry. So if there is a position there, that I would be suited for, then I would like to have that one, and I believe for several, any other positions, but.
I bet you everybody made a note of that.
Yeah, you did. We should have mentioned that Tim is not here today. All of us don't make every single meeting, and Tim's wife is off for school vacation week, so she beat him up and he took today off.
We gave him permission though, yes, we're coming, so. And did you have any other questions for us?
No, I don't believe so.
We probably have about another week worth of interviews,
Okay.
and then we'll have to get together and try to make placements. So it may be, 2 weeks before we get back with you, so don't think that we've forgotten about you. It was
No
just
problem.
a lot of legwork for us.
Now, do you have more people volunteering than you have positions, or is it about even? Oh, that's great.
I know.
That's a good problem to
Our
have.
marketing department did a great job getting the word out, and we were really surprised with a lot of new faces. Don't y'all think? A lot of
Yeah.
people new town, so.
We're
Yeah, it
doing
is.
over 90.
Oh, wow.
16 boards and commissions were interviewed for, some brand new, never existed before.
And then some folks like you.
94 or
that
5?
remember down.
5 interviews, yeah.
If, like I said, the airport advisory board is probably my first choice, but if you need me somewhere else, I'll be happy to serve. And if you have more qualified candidates, then that's perfectly fine too. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you
week.
for coming.
Sure.
Appreciate it. Good to see you.
To see so many familiar faces.
And there's been a while since we've been able to really get out and see each other.
I know.
Absolutely. I think, Sue, the last time I saw you was at that pancake.
Again, Janet.
She's coming on virtual.
Oh, well, she's virtual.
Kelly,
Can you hear us?
she's joining.
That's it. She's
She's gonna do.
coming. Here she goes.
Kelly, can you hear us?
Cute.
Happy mistake. She bought her business.
There. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
She's on mute.
Oh,
Hi, Kelly.
hi Kelly, how are you? Can you hear us?
Yes. There.
Kelly,
Okay.
can you see who all's in the
There you
room,
are.
all right?
Yeah.
Yes, I can see y'all.
Hi. You know, everybody, want to introduce ourselves. I'm Judy
Hi.
Wallace.
Kelly, I'm Susan Long.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Wendell Williams.
Hello. Okay, sorry, I'm getting used to I stole my daughter's headphones to
Yeah.
trying to adjust. We're at the Dallas Holocaust Museum and I snuck away to the courtyard. So I hope there's not a bunch of background noise or a train that goes by.
Right.
Hey, it's spring break. How there? Everything's good?
Yes, we got to break away yesterday and headed up to last minute trip. So
That's great. Great. Well, we appreciate your interest in the zoning board of adjustments, and we just have a few questions for asking all the candidates. So, I know you've got a sort of a time limit there, so we'll just jump right to it.
okay.
Just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in this particular board.
Well, I'm an architect here in town. I grew up in Temple, born and raised, and we moved away for a number of years and ended up landing back in Temple back in 2013. And I was working for the VA at the time and broke away to join Larry Neal at Neal Architectural Group back in 2017. And just recently acquired the business from him, and just over the last few years have just been making it a goal and priority to get more involved in the community, and have been eyeing various different city boards for several years now. And I guess kind of on the prompting of Brian Chandler's email, went ahead and put in for it this time. So just have an invested interest in the community, especially with my architecture background, and becoming more involved in learning what's going on and being more involved with the city.
I appreciate you sharing your talents and your expertise. And I think you've already answered the second question pretty much, but you might want to add to it. What skills, talents, or experience would you like to bring? Anything else you'd like to add to that?
You know, I've been involved with various city projects and just helping out clients on various different projects, and it'd be nice to know the other side of the process a little bit better, and becoming involved with the zoning board of adjustments, I think would definitely have that added education piece to me being able to help my clients and also to help the city become a better place.
Okay. Is there anything particular you'd like to accomplish if you were on the board?
Just to help and do my part. I think that's the main goal.
Okay. Any other questions y'all have?
Kelly, are you on the board now? On the zoning board of adjustment? I should know that, but I don't. I'm sorry.
So
I
you've
am not.
served on the board.
This would be my first board for the city.
Okay, I thought that's what you said, but I was confused. But you're comfortable understanding the zoning code, it's that kind of thing as an architect. I'm sure you are very familiar with it.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
And Kelly, you also applied for the Main Street Advisory Group. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And you have moved your business actually to Main Street, right? Or second?
Well, we're on Main Street right now. We're temporarily there. I'm making the decision whether I'm going to move back to the space we were in or stay in the Mood Ballroom space. Our lease was up at the other location, and when it got flooded in the ice storm, and Bo Harvey and Bruce Bates were kind enough to let us squat in their building for a couple months, and they spiced up the deal by making an offer to stay down there. So now I have a decision to make.
This is a choice.
I had heard that, I was told you were considering moving downtown. I was surprised somewhat because it had been Canyon Creek so long, but didn't realize it had flooded. Was there anything besides building damage?
A pipe burst above the ceiling in Ward Moore's suite and came under and flooded the whole building. So we have a 2-foot flood cut around our entire space. So we didn't have it as bad as the other spaces. But of course now everybody's negotiating with insurance and trying to get contractors on board to come put it back together. So we don't have a timeline yet for when it's all going to be back together.
Yes.
I can imagine how disruptive that is. I know in my home, I've had a little bit disruptive to us, but a business that has to be catastrophic.
Yes. Yeah. We had some good practice during, the past year of working from home. So we had that down pretty good, but we just recently hired 2 interns and it's very hard to mentor an intern from a Zoom call. So we had to get back to some form of in-person working so that I could properly get these girls on the right track instead of feeling like I was leaving them behind and just pushing things at them and not really teaching them how to do it. So it was critical to have a space to come back together. So very thankful to Bo and Bruce.
Kelly, do you have any questions?
No, I mean, I know that Larry was on this board a number of years ago, and so he's told me about it a few times, and then of course he's been very involved with the city, and as he was segueing out, he was encouraging me to kind of help fill the position from a standpoint of having somebody in our office a little more in the know, I guess you could say.
Kelly, the first board I served on in the city was Buildings and Standards 20 plus years ago. And I was brand new to the city. So Larry was on that board. That's how I met him. Don't know him well at all, but just that was sort of my introduction to getting involved with city boards. So
All right.
different. He was a pleasure to work with.
Yes. He's entertaining.
Kelly, if you're also put into the Main Street, which is your first choice? Did you say?
I've been torn between picking which one because the zoning probably is a little more in tune with what we do every day in my office. But I was involved on the Jonathan Graham put together the 254 downtown committee, or I can't remember exactly what he called it. And I was involved in that. That's been 4 or 5 or so years ago. And that was before the Main Street application had been put in to get back into that program. And so I was kind of involved in that a while back. And so there's a little bit of passion just for the knowledge and the group that I was involved with working on that. And so I'm kind of torn between the two. So I would easily go either way. Can't really say I have a first pick.
Well, we appreciate that. We really do. Now, we're interviewing all 16 boards, and so it's going to take us a little bit longer to complete all that. So probably a couple of weeks before anybody gets back in touch with you, but we will.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Your interest is done already. You have a good day.
Thanks.
Bye, Kelly.
Bye,
Thank
Kelly.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
I got behind me and out.
Did you have any water damage at your house?
No, I had a little leak at my corpus house. It was outside and the water was turned off. I don't know why it just broke. So,
Well, good. I'm glad it wasn't anything tragic.
yeah. Me too. I had a friend that did, was supposed to close on the Monday right after it snowed on selling a house. I needed that money to close on this house he was buying, and the hot water heater busted in the attic and flooded the whole thing.
So you could obviously
He couldn't
close.
close, and the people that they got fixing it, I just was talking to him, they come and started, and they left and went to some other job, and he got back, and he's trying to get that one, and
Can't find anybody else.
yeah, he's afraid he's gonna lose the house they're trying to buy.
You can't take a bridge loan?
He thought he could, and then he found out for some reason he can't.
Well, because of the condition.
Probably.
Yeah, sure. Oh,
Don't know. A lot of people that
really
have a
suffering.
mess, yeah.
No, the interesting thing is a lot of water damage is now just starting to show in people's houses.
Oh, that happened to you?
It happened to us.
Oh, really?
Sunday, we had water start bubbling up in the wooden floor in the dining room and the kitchen area. And then we had another neighbor that told Carolyn that her flooring tiles started popping up.
Oh, really?
And they actually bring a
slab.
machine in to the house to try to track where the leak might be.
Hmm.
But your foundation's contracted in the cold.
I guess it
And they
pops up.
come back and you got those, copper pipes in some of those houses, et cetera. You get a pinhole leak and you got a problem.
Well, that's one thing, I got PEX, so it flexed with it, and I had a,
Where, have you found your water?
Yeah.
What is it?
It was a pipe, just as it went into the foundation, it had two holes in it. The foundation shifted enough. And they fixed they had to air jack it down a little bit, fix the first one. They had to go much deeper for the second one, so they just did a bypass because it was an inflow line. And they could run another line from the hot water heater to it. But it caused, it's probably gonna end up being $7,000-8,000 worth of damage.
And the
Sorry,
dining room floor
Mr.
is
Casey.
gone.
Yeah, throw the swimming pool on top of it, Mr. Casey's gonna write a nice check.
Is the dining room floor gone?
No, it's not totally gone, but they don't make that wood anymore. But fortunately, we kept 5 boxes when we did the flooring for things like, so we've got the floor.
that's lucky, because you'll never get the match.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, Wendell, I had missed you saying this earlier. I'm so
It's
sorry.
been a fun week.
Well, you said, I heard you say that, and I thought you were talking about Carolyn leaving, moving your father-in-law,
And a water leak.
and being here every day. I didn't know about the water leak. I
It's
just
been a
said
fun
it.
week. It's been a fun week.
Have you ever been on ZBA before? You haven't?
I was an alternate, you remember me talking on council about let's move up alternates, because I was an alternate like for 5 years, and people were coming in as members, and I was an alternate.
Staying in all.
And the chair and the vice chair were like there about 10% of the time, and I was chairing the meetings because I've chaired P and Z and they knew I could. So I was chairing the meetings about 90% of the time as an alternate that whole time. And I was an alternate when I got on council. That's, well, you weren't there.
No, I remember.
Y'all were there,
Absolutely.
remember me
Yeah.
saying, hey, let's move up alternates and put new people on alternates, because they were just
Yeah.
new people.
And just the other day, I remembered that conversation, and I thought, we never talked about that in this whole board redesign thing. We never mentioned that topic,
Mhm.
but, I mean, it's not too late to do that, but it's something we need to
Yeah.
remember to mention to Brent.
Yeah, y'all keep it, as long as the council knows through the years, even if it's not written, to watch for that, because they were trying to, the chair actually got turned out, and the vice chair, and they were trying to vote the chair, but they couldn't because I was an alternate. And I don't
Even though
remember.
you've done all the legwork.
But the one that got the chair, I had to sit by him for the first several meetings and say, okay, do this now. I mean, he was fresh at
Yeah.
it, not that it's hard, but,
But you just need to know the ropes.
No, you don't know till you know.
but in fact, the whole time I was on it, probably most of the time it was alternates that were making the quorum. So there would be more alternates than there were and they usually barely make a quorum on it. You know.
Well, we only have 3 questions, and we already know most of it, but anyway. The questions are, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in serving on this board.
Mike?
In 15 words or less.
Oh, let's see, Mike. Oh, Mike.
You can probably tell me about myself as much as anything. I'm interested in it. I mean, y'all know I like public service and love the city of Temple, and just want to see us grow in a proper way, just like I did when I was on council and any of the other boards.
How long have you been with Bell?
Since I started getting paid when I was 16 in 1985. So what is that?
Finally started getting paid.
Since I was about 8, counting not getting paid, but I was probably running away.
As you and I reconfirmed this morning when I talked to you on the phone, that you put in for more than one board, but your first choice is the RZ.
Definitely. And Tim had called me and was asking about the ZBA, and if that's a spot that's needed, I'm way more than willing to be on there. That's an enjoyable board, but I don't want it. I didn't want to get off the Parks Board because I wouldn't want that to stop me from being able to be on a ZBA or a TEDC. There.
Tim's not here today. You may or may not know, this is school vacation week. You know that, obviously.
We let him off.
Yeah, we let him off. But Jennifer's got this week off, so she beat him up and he's gone to shop with her.
Mike, did you say TEDC or reinvestments?
I would like to be on one or both. I don't want to be on like a Parks Board and that stop me from being able to be on both of those as well. But barring that, I'm willing to serve my term out on the Parks Board, or I'm willing, if y'all need a spot to get off of Parks and be on do the ZBA. If that's spots that y'all need filled.
Yeah.
But I say I don't want to crowd up two and not be able to have an opportunity for one of the other two. So.
Anything specific you'd like to see accomplished on that board?
CBA, I mean, it's a case by case basis thing. I would like to see the ordinances that we have upheld with common sense. I mean, when I was on there were definitely some cases that came before us that were variances, but they made sense. And I am concerned about keeping, I mean, that board helps to keep our city looking nice and uniform and not having encroachments and carports sticking out in the street and that kind of thing. I think that's important to try to keep things looking nice there. So.
It's really, really important, considering on one level, considering what we've done with Transform Temple to keep the ZBA very, very active and people on it that really understand both the ordinance, the requirements of the ordinance, but the reasons behind the ordinances.
You're exactly right, because sometimes there's a plenty good, and I'll give you an example. When I was on it, they barely had a quorum, and that was the only issue, so I wasn't there. I thought it was a no-brainer. I wouldn't have been able to testify anyway because I was on it, so I didn't go. I had a baseball game. I was coaching my son, but I was trying to be able to put a fence on my property line in the front of my house, a privacy fence, and there is an ordinance against that, and I completely get the ordinance. If you're in a neighborhood, you don't want your neighbor having a fence property. I don't know how many of y'all know what my house looks like, but I'm not in a neighborhood. It would have looked just like the houses down the street, except that it was their backyard. Since they barely had a quorum, it only took one no vote to turn me down. I got the one no vote, and they came back and drove by my house later and said, tried to ask Brian if he could change his vote because he didn't understand. So, I mean, you have to have people.
Yeah, that's why you drive by before.
That's true. That's very true too.
Yes.
But you also need people that understand that he didn't.
And interestingly, had that been the back of your house, there would have been no
Yes.
problem in putting the fence.
Exactly.
It's
There would
only
have been no
because it's the front, and that's why it should have been
And if
a
the privacy
variance.
fence was up, you wouldn't have been able to tell if it was the front or the back of the
Right.
house, it would be the same. That's just an example of, there's a reason for the ordinance, and I very well, even that one, I very well got the reason for it, but there's a reason you need people that understand what's going on and know enough to know when the variance is, just like council, I mean, it's a judgment call sometimes, and you have to have people that know what they're know enough. If it were all just black and white, you could have a computer, punch a bunch of buttons, yes, you can do this, no, you can't do that. So you
Right.
need people that understand.
Yeah.
Thanks for sure.
Do you have any questions for us?
Well, I can think of.
And Mike, this is a totally new game for all of us, this interview process and application process. We've had well over 90 interviews scheduled, so it's going to take a couple of weeks to finish this up. We hope to have it finished up by the first part of April and have everybody slotted where we can. Some people won't get appointed, there's just too many people. But it is a great process. We have interviewed a lot of really good people that we didn't know existed. They
Yeah.
just, some of them have just moved in the community, but people that really expressed an interest in this. So
It's
it's
nice
really
that we're
good.
not just always pulling the same pool, you know?
And that's good that you're getting to hear from the people. And
Yeah.
know, sometimes I know when I'll sit down at council tables, you know, oh, I know his cousin's brother and he's a pretty seller.
That's what brought this around.
Yeah.
That's good. I did have one question. I know there is an opening also on the RZ, isn't there?
One.
Okay. Like I say, I'm more than willing to do the ZBA, but I say, I don't, if that opening's available, if I get on there, I don't want to be.
Well, just
I don't
because,
want to do a board just to do a board. I want to be meaningful.
just because we're talking to you today about the ZBA, this interview, whatever day you're interviewed, covers all the things you had an interest in. So we're all very aware that RZ is your first choice. So
That's
that'll be
good.
fine.
And like I said with parks, that I have some more term on that, and if it does block me from anything, I'll serve mine, and I love Kevin, and I love the parks, and that's very important. It's after you've been on council and other boards that are actually hearing arguments and making decisions.
I don't know, you should have come to council last night.
It's kind of like being the chief of police and then being the dog catcher the next week. It's not exciting, and you're sitting there listening to the report for how the golf course did last month and that kind of a thing. And not that that's not very important. It's just not
Used to a bigger picture.
I'm used to the bigger picture
Not
and
raining
actually
your time.
discussing and making real decisions and that kind of thing. So. All right. Well, anything else?
Appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you heading?
Am I supposed to go?
All right, hot seat. We should have made that seat red or something.
Never know that.
I feel that. Believe me, the heat. So do you know everybody
Yes,
here?
I don't know if everybody knows me, but
We talked about you before you got here. Did you know Jim?
We do.
He comes
I don't know
to
that,
meetings.
we've never formally met, but I'm Susan Long, but I certainly know who you are, and I know your wife, and think highly of her, so it's nice
I
to
wonder why, what was she
she,
thinking?
yes, I think that every day.
I'm Jean Morales.
Yes, and I know you and I've met
Yes, we have.
before. I worked on some projects that you were involved in on the east side.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you and I have talked in council meetings
Yes.
occasionally, but I don't think we've ever said
Right.
our names, but I certainly know who you are.
And you probably know Tim is out of town. Jennifer's on spring break, so she was able to get him for one day. So that's why he's not here. So you just get us, four of us.
Tim knows.
He knows, yeah, yep.
Well, we appreciate you coming today and your interest. And we just have a few questions lined up that we'll be asking everybody. So if you don't mind, we'll just get started. And the first question is, just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in serving on this committee.
Let's start.
Short and sweet.
Yeah. After 40 years of working, I have now found time to give back. So I've been in Temple all my life, went to school with Jessica. And Been in the real estate business a long time now. But just looking at opportunity to serve. Because now I have the time. I haven't before. Kids are grown, they're out of college, they got jobs. So all that's, so, people whine and complain, I hear it all the time. And don't get involved, so that's the other thing, to get them involved. So, I can talk to a few people, apply for some board or commission. Okay, so here I am.
Okay, we appreciate that. 'cause,
You're involved in real estate now
Yes, have been for,
with a company here?
myself. I have a broker, I don't have a broker yet, I have a real estate license. But I've been investing in buying properties and selling properties, rehabbing properties, 15, 20 years. Developed 7 or 8 ranches, a couple commercial buildings. So do a lot of investing in rehabbing houses, older homes. So
Good to know.
Where are you working now? What houses are you rehabbing?
got one on North P Ridge. Looking at making that a mixed use. Then I've got one on Pecan Valley, which is over in South Temple Valley.
I used to live on.
Okay. Let's see, I've got 4 going right now. Wouldn't ask me. Well, 2 are in Academy and 4 here. So North P Ridge, Pecan Valley.
They're out there.
I better go
somewhere.
check on them.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Wonder what stage.
I guess they're still there.
It'll come to you.
Waterbury sold, all over Temple, actually. It's not just one part of town. But I want to do some more commercial stuff. I do have a boat storage facility in West Temple. And looking at one on Gila, got one on Gila, that's most recent. Probably that's Western Hills. So I think that does it.
Do you keep them and rent them, or do you renovate and then sell?
Both.
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 Good, a lot to keep up with. So you still are working, really.
Yes, I'm just for myself.
Yeah, that's good. So what skills, talents, or expertise would you bring to this position?
Oh, goodness. Outside of the real estate, in the building and rehab that I've done, which has been quite extensive for most people, maybe not to a large general contractor, but for most people. And for going my education, master's and bachelor's in business, I've owned businesses, got 5 right now. And most of those have to do with the real estate. Those businesses are either 2 of them for rehabbing homes and 2 of them for rental properties, and one I'm opening a property management company as well, in the process of doing that. I've done a lot of leadership. I spent 30 years in the healthcare industry, 7 years at Scott and White Administration, clinic management and director. 20 some odd years in the pharmaceutical industry, in management, administration, sales positions, and marketing positions. But more than that, that's besides all that, a lot of people tell you what they've done, what they can do, but more what I bring to this is a different perspective than most, I believe. Many times we paint ourselves into a corner on putting restrictions or codes on people and properties. And as I was driving in, I've seen them when it's in the housing developments as well as the commercial buildings. You have to make so much out of this material and this material and that material. 10 years later, those materials are either obsolete or no longer desired. So the person that was made to build that building out of materials, if he wants to update it, it's going to be a lot more expensive. Or if someone comes in for a building that's ran down, it might be cheaper just to tear it down and build a new one. Unintended consequences are something that happens with all government and businesses. And the bigger the business, the bigger the government, the more we have of that. And so I understand the reason, safety first and foremost should be of concern. And second, the number one rule of engineering architecture is form follows function. In other words, what it looks like follows the way it performs. because it doesn't form that's not efficient or safe as it should be. And so, and then putting the burden perhaps on people to make it where they can't do it. I've been in that situation many times. Because of the city or county ordinance. And I talked, well, that'd be nice, but we can't do it. That doesn't our ordinance. They won't do it. So we paint ourselves in a circle or into a box and we can't get out. And so the other thing is, I guess, looking at coming in, for instance, one good example, Pepper Creek Bridge on Adams. There's a burnt orange building there. It's made out of stucco. The ugliest one in the block. It's the ugliest one, but they're within which one? It's the ugliest building out there. And I really, that to me doesn't matter. Private property rights are big for me. So if they want to make an ugly building, but I understand why the codes exist and why we want the ordinance and why we want to do things a certain way. You just don't want a bunch of junk or something that's going to not be safe or something that's going to dilapidate over time. So many times people are afraid to ask the question, what about this? What about that? I'm not. And so that's probably, one of the biggest trends right now is a white 105 siding house. I don't know if you know what that is, but the horizontal whiteboards on this building was imitated, which is probably not. It's probably composite material, but they make composite material look like, a few years ago, you didn't do that. Especially on some injuries. We can't do it on Adams, can't do it on Third, can't do that over here, can't do it on West Adams. You did it here. So, it's things like that. People sometimes don't think forward thinking enough to see how the decisions they make today are going to affect adversely everyone in the future. So, I guess that's probably what I really want to do.
Have you served on any other boards of the city before?
Not the city.
Okay. As a board member, what would you think you would like to accomplish?
Really don't know because I don't know where they are at this point, what's going, because I don't see anything that at this point is a big need of improving. I don't know exactly where they stand and what they're doing and what the city wants right now. That would be like asking me almost, well, why would you be better than someone else? I don't know who's blind. So I have no idea whether I'd be better or not. And same thing, I don't know exactly what the direction is specifically. So to answer that question would be quite hard.
Okay, understandable. Okay. Don't have any questions? Anybody else?
What about questions for us?
I really don't have any. Not really.
We are revamping these boards and there's 16 of them and we have over 90 interviews that we're conducting. So we're about halfway through, I think maybe a little more than
I hope
halfway.
a little more than that.
I feel for y'all.
Well, it's really been good for us, I think. For too long, I think we've had kind of an arm's length idea of what happens on the board. This time we're starting fresh and we really get a better understanding of what's going on and their purpose. So it's been good for us. Plus a whole bunch of new faces, people that like yourself that hadn't gotten involved before that are now, and it's nice. It's good to see.
I'd like to be. I retired 3 years ago, and I'm done about all the honeydew stuff I can do. But with the property management, I'm open and probably going to be a lot more busy. But again, so
Yeah, it just doesn't take up all that much time. Do you have your list of when it normally meets?
it's called meetings, right? This one's a
I think it is.
call.
Yeah, just as needed.
This board, oh, no, go ahead. This board more, helps, or let me read the exact language. Advises P and Z and City Council on relating to amendments and enforcement in the city's Unified Development Code.
Right.
It sounds on one level, and don't misunderstand what I'm saying here, but it sounds like you may have problems with some of the Unified Development Code as it exists now, in which case you might be more geared towards advising to amendments to that code, working with P and Z to make changes on the code.
Could be.
But you're open to just enforcing the existing
Oh,
code also?
Yeah, I don't have any problem with anything that I know of now, but I'm not here to change and make and shake everything up.
No,
But-
and I didn't mean to imply that at all.
So,
I
no,
understood that.
but, everything sounds, many times things sound awfully good and then we find out later. And a lot of times maybe it's because too many of the same people have done it and nothing, and you just get,
Nobody's
You
asked
get-
any questions.
you get desensitized
Yeah.
to certain things or, not enough different ideas on certain things. So, no, I'm open and, really I just want to serve and learn and be part of it, more than anything.
We certainly appreciate that sentiment very much.
We're thinking it'll probably be beginning of April, isn't that what we talked about? So don't think that we had forgotten about you. We just need to go through, finish up this process and then get placements squared away. So yeah, probably about a week or two and then we'll get back with you.
Absolutely, it's fine.
Jim, thank you very much.
All right.
Have a good
Thank you
weekend.
so much.
All right, I'll take care.
Enjoyed talking with you.
Deonta Davis, I remember seeing her name early on.
Oh, I don't.
Do you know, Jana, there are a number of,
He applied for eight different.
wow,
Sorry what I missed.
he applied for 8 different
Busy guy.
boards, but I am only seeing his name on this one, did I?
Is Jeremy Jurassic, or I presume I'm saying it correctly, related to the real estate company?
No.
No, either.
But I did notice that he also, Jeremy, also applied for Main Street.
Does it show what his first choice is?
Not on this. Deontay Davis, with emergency services as well.
Oh,
I'm thinking I might know who that is. I'm not sure if I've seen him. Not sure, well, you know people, but you don't know them until you know them.
So I think, oh no, wait, here's, Deontay is also for Parks and Rec.
oh. Well, what openings do we, how many openings on Parks and Rec now?
Five if we remove Mike Pilkington.
5? And that includes Mike if he
If we remove him, yeah, we have.
he clearly would be good for lots of committees.
Mike,
Mike.
yeah, I get his sentiment that.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait.
Or not now.
Likewise, we're comfortable seeing your smiling face.
I'm Jessica Walker.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hi.
I'm Wendell Williams.
I'm Judy Morales.
Hi, and I'm Susan Long.
How you doing? Happy
Nice to
to,
meet you.
nice to meet all of you.
Do I know you on the homeless? Okay.
Yes, I am part of the homeless task
Okay.
force.
I've seen you on the Zoom. Yeah, that's great. I was thinking that might be you. But thank you for your interest and thank you for coming.
All right, awesome.
Yeah. So we just have a few questions, so we ask everybody the same question. And so I'll just jump right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested on this committee.
So I was born and raised here in Temple. I've lived all over Temple, 30 years of age now. I guess the main thing that really is kind of motivating me to get more involved is I'm interested in purchasing a property over in downtown. So I was kind of looking to see more about the city, learn more about the interactions. And I had some plans for some future developments and starting my own real estate investment company. So I kind of wanted to see what was the city's ideas, what their goals were, what are the plans that are already in place, and see how that kind of fits and kind of works with what we're going and what we want to do and bring to the city of Temple. So that's really kind of like my main interest in being a part of the board.
Well, you applied for a couple of different boards. We have you listed for parks, emergency services, and then this development standard. If you had to choose one above the other, is there one that you're more interested in?
I would say probably the development standards board is the one I saw that I was really interested in and learning more about.
Okay, great. And I mean, we will consider you for everything, but we just, you know, we'd like for your first choice to.
Yes, no worries.
This interview consists for all three in that sense.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep, we're not gonna call you back 2 more times.
Yeah.
I promise you. We're not gonna call you back.
We're reviewing 16 different boards. We have quite a few people that go through and try to just really get to meet people and kind of see where they fit in and
Right.
what would be the best for everybody. So what skills, talents, or experiences would you bring to this particular board?
As far as skills and experience, I'm kind of new to a lot of the development standards, but I have kind of like been looking over the unified code, seeing kind of what the expectations for that. I think I'm a really good researcher. I'm tenacious. I'm, very ambitious and driven to meet my goals, accomplish different things in the community. I think what I would probably just bring over is just a young insight, just kind of that young enthusiasm and spirit of energy.
Great. Are you going to school now or?
I was attending online university at I was attending school online with Southern New Hampshire University, but like working and kind of being a dad and going to school, kind of I was working 12-hour shifts overnight in production, so I was just like, oh, yeah, it's too kind of. I decided I really want to take a break, and that's why I kind of like decided I wanted to focus on what my real ambitions and goals were, was really to kind of open up a business and start something in real estate. So hopefully, I'm actually working on a project in downtown over on 11 North Main. We want to bring a co-working space, a lounge, and a game room downtown Temple. North Main, over there across the street from the old municipal building.
Okay.
It's right, so you have the old post office.
Where
and
do you
then-
see it?
Right.
What's it called?
Temple East,
Huh?
the one that's under construction.
Yeah.
Oh, by city?
Yeah,
East.
it's down that, yeah, it's on Main Street, but it's more further down by Hawkins Personnel.
I know where you're talking about.
Hawkins Personnel.
Okay, so closer
Oh, I
to
know
the-
where, down there.
Right by by the visiting center. I don't know what I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry.
Now we got all that stuff.
I know. Sorry about that.
But I remember I was just over there yesterday and we were looking off the roof. And I looked and saw the building, I was like, oh, that's the old municipal building. I was just like, wow, I didn't know that. And I don't know, and that's what's kind of just stuck in my head.
Sure.
So, but yeah, it's the visiting center downtown, right across from it.
That's great.
Yeah, so you own that building or you're renovating it or what's happening?
We're gonna be renovating it. Travis Wilkes is the one who owns the building.
And what do you want to put in there? You said, I'm sorry. I was trying
We wanna do a jazz lounge, we wanna do a co-working space and a game room.
Wow,
Could use a jazz lounge.
yeah.
Yeah, I kind of was looking at one of those things, and just like, man, it would be really great to have more entertainment-based venues in downtown, especially in just Temple as a whole, that, more adult-oriented, because you're kind of looking at having a place for parents and, we can all get a break and go relax, hang out with other adults, have fun and not really have to worry about the kiddos overnight. So.
It's interesting.
Have you talked to any people at Temple College related to the jazz band? Any connections there with the jazz lounge?
We haven't yet because we're still in our early development stages. So we're kind of like just looking at the funding, looking at getting the permit to make sure everything is in that order. So we're kind of like, okay, we're here. We're still in our new start phase, and we just gotta make sure we got our business plan on order, make sure we meet the permits and things like that. So we haven't started reaching out to the community just yet.
Good luck on that.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited
You should
about
let
it.
us know.
Good.
It's really good.
I'll keep Dan. I'm on the downtown city committees. I go to those meetings.
Good.
So I'll definitely keep Dan, and he'll probably, I guess, keep you guys aware of what's going on and all that. So.
Well, at the appropriate point, I really encourage you, if you don't know the jazz people connected with Temple College, to make connections there, because there's some extraordinary things that do happen. Prior to COVID, there were extraordinary things that were happening. And bringing in some pretty high-powered jazz musicians from abroad and elsewhere in the United States.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I would definitely love to bring that in and kind of bridge that, because it's one of the things that I think would really bring out downtown, and just having, like I say, those live entertainment, a multitude of different viewpoints, perspectives, and cultural
Yeah.
variety. I think that's kind of like what a lot of us is looking for. We're gonna do something different, you know? So I think that will be definitely something that would bring in a more, I wouldn't say a more diverse crowd, but just a larger crowd overall.
I agree.
Good news. Is there anything particular you'd like to accomplish in this board?
My goal for this board is really kind of, like I say, to really get an understanding of what Temple is looking for, understanding how the development process works, understanding how the permits and coding works, and just kind of, wherever I can be assistance, it helps. That's really my overall goal, is just to learn.
Okay. You have any questions for us?
I had put in 2 applications, but I was wanting to know, if the other boards that I applied for the Police Advisory Board and the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Board, are those, what time with those, are those still open and available, or would those be like another period?
We haven't filled any positions yet.
Yeah.
So this interview is for everything you have basically applied for.
Okay.
But we had to pick one to bring you in because you don't want to come in 5 different.
Right. So for-
Okay.
It is a one-time interview, but it doesn't preclude necessarily you being considered for other positions you applied for.
So for the DEI, what would you like to see there in the diversity, equity, inclusion?
I kind of wanted to see more from the Black community. I feel like, as far as just the meetings and communities I've seen to and been presenting at, there isn't a lot of us. I don't know the reasons behind it, but I just felt like it would be something that would be intricate to really see about how to improve the affairs of the Black community. But I mean, I have an interest in all communities as far as just being happy and successful. Like I say, I'm on the homeless task force. I have my own nonprofit organization called Make a Way Wellness. And what we want to do with our organization is kind of help the homeless, recently released prisoners, individuals just getting out of jail treatment programs to really find stability and success in life. So we want to have basically residential-based programs where they work in groups. We have a pattern and a format for them to really grow, to learn about finances, employment opportunities, job readiness, and training skills. So I definitely want to work in all areas, but I do see a need to kind of see what more the Black community could bring as far as just making Temple a better place. So that's kind of like one of the reasons why I was really interested in that board. And I feel like I would be able to offer at least that. I don't know, like I say, too many others, but I'm sure there are. I just haven't probably run across them yet. Well, I'll take that back. I haven't run across Sanjay Cross. I met with her briefly in Dory Collins.
No, that's a
Sanjay.
French.
She's
They both are.
So is Dory, yeah.
Yes. This is the diversity, and diversity equity board commission, whatever we call it, is brand new.
Mm-hmm.
We've never had that before. So it's not that you haven't seen very many people involved in it. It hasn't existed.
Oh,
So this is it.
this is brand new.
thing.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
So I was
yes.
reading about it. I thought it had already been kind of established for a while. Okay, awesome.
And the city's in the process of hiring a coordinator for that. I don't know if it's settled, but,
I think the lady took the job.
did she, okay, good. So she's on board.
Good, I didn't.
So what kind of inspired you guys to finally, I guess it's not finally, but what kind of inspired you guys to want to bring that to you? I know it was formed by city council, right?
Yes,
I think everything that happened with Michael Dean,
Mm-hmm.
that just, the city really misstepped when it came to that. So this was an opportunity that we couldn't pass up to kind of figure out what we were missing in the community, how there are people that are marginalized, that are underserved. We need to reach out, we need to find them and plug everybody in.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Same thing with the police advisory, it's a brand new board.
Oh, that's also new. Oh, okay.
So we're venturing out to really try to address all the different aspects of our community that either needs more attention or that we just need to grow a little bit, so.
The other thing that's new in this whole overall operation is this, interviews, reaching out to people and having them apply. But in the past, it was handled more in-house, for lack of a better way of saying it. And that precluded us from meeting people like you. And so we have talked about how successful we feel this process has been in attracting people to apply, getting them in and getting to know them, a little bit about them. And we think the city will benefit from this process just as much as it's going to benefit from several of these new committees.
how'd you find out about this?
Actually, it was my friend Caitlin West.
Good. We talked
She,
to her the other day. I
yeah.
was just sitting here thinking, he should know Caitlin.
yes, I did. It was actually Caitlin, Jennifer Graham. I don't know if you probably know, have heard, but she's led a couple of boards.
Yes.
But she was over my principal in my younger years over at Weekly when she first came. So she, we had reconnected a couple of months ago. And we were talking and she was just like, I really think, Deontay, that you need to go out and apply for these boards. I'm not saying you're gonna get on them, but you have a unique perspective and insight that I feel like our city really could benefit from. So she encouraged me, and then Caitlin, not long after that, Caitlin was like, hey, have you heard of these boards? Deontay, you need to go apply for it because you really have a great insight. So it's kind of like they both almost mirrored each other in their enthusiasm and excitement. So I was just like, well, I don't know if I'm qualified, but I'll go for it. I mean, I'll give it my best shot. I'm definitely excited to be working with the city of Temple, be working with the community. I really enjoy being on the homeless task force and just learning about the other alternatives and what's the word? Opportunities and incentives, and things like that. I really just enjoy kind of learning more about our community because just being coming to the downtown committee meeting, I learned about the different businesses and opportunities that they have in place there. And I was just like, wow, I didn't know we even had this business there. I didn't know they had this. So I kind of decided about, I've been talking with them like, well, hey, can we do market and pass out flyers? I feel like there's a lot of opportunity here in Temple that we're kind of not really exploiting, I guess that's the right word, but really digging in there and bringing out the heart and the essence of Temple and just kind of give everybody opportunity to experience that. And that's kind of like what I've really been loving about that. And that's kind of like what pushed me to like go ahead and try for it. It's just like, cause the city could definitely benefit from great opportunities, new perspectives, just younger energy that's dedicated and motivated. And that's kind of like one of the things I noticed with my generation, millennial, getting us really kind of organized and really helping us to learn more. But I encourage a lot of us are like, hey guys, I think it's time for us to start getting more involved in what's going on in the city, start learning, start getting mentored, start getting groomed to take over the leadership. Because they're not going to be able to lead forever. At some point, they're going to get tired and they're going to want to, go to the next stage of their life. So we kind of got to get in there while they're still young and they're still, want to teach us and mentor us and guide us. So that's kind of one of the main things that also is inspiring me and motivating me to go ahead and apply for boards.
You're absolutely mirroring.
Oh, I love this energy.
You're absolutely mirroring some things that we said in setting up these in the new boards and commissions and the 16 total, that our hope was we would meet a whole bunch of new younger people that have not been overly involved in the city and do exactly what you're talking about. Get younger people involved, start bringing people forward in terms of leadership of the city. It's wonderful. It's like same wavelength here. Little clouds floating across with it.
I'm glad to know that we're all kind of connecting already. I'm
Yeah.
excited about it.
Yeah, but some of the boards require that people live in different districts. So what district do you live in?
I'm currently in the historic district off of North Third Street.
Currently,
You're one of mine.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
councilman. I'm a woman. Person.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, I believe it. I think it's kind of right there on that line, so I'm not really sure.
Well,
It's
I
over
want-
there, yeah.
I'm sorry.
what's your address?
1014 North Third Street.
But we'll help you if you want to move to another district. I'm serious.
1014 North Third Street.
Okay. I can see where Judy's driving when we get up
Yeah.
here. Yeah. So where's the dividing line? Is that French?
It zigzags on King
No.
and then goes up from Third over.
Is it 714?
1014.
Yeah, 14.
Dante, you need to move out west and I'll be your.
No.
We won't argue about.
Yeah.
And I'll help you down District 3, and then Wendell and I border 3 and 4, and I can never remember exactly where the lines are. That's actually one very good thing about this council. We joke about the districts that we represent, and we don't know exactly where the lines are because we represent the city
Right.
more than just a district.
I can see that. I love that you guys have a really great connected energy. And it's not like the whole individual just kind of only worried about my district, but more so worrying about the city as a whole. And I just feel like that would be a
Very,
great
very
part.
important, the whole city and the interconnectedness of the city. And helping districts not to think of themselves as districts, but as part of a whole.
Well, piece of that puzzle. You gotta have all the pieces.
Right. I always look at, the community and everything, and I tell people all the time, it's just like, hey, we're not gonna always see everything the same way. We're not gonna think and believe the same way, because God didn't create us like that. He created us to be individuals, but, just like we're diverse and we're different, it's kind of like looking at an orchestra. Your orchestra, you have your violins and you have your pianos and you have your percussions. I say, but if the percussions were always playing, would you really like the music? No, you wouldn't. And if the violin was the only thing that ever got played, would you really like the music? And if the windpipes, but you look at it, and we go to the orchestra because we hear the instruments as a whole. We see that crescendo of all the engagement and all of the different instruments coming together to create music and experience that we love and enjoy. And I say that's kind of how I look at people. That's how I look at the communities, that we're just an orchestra just waiting for each part to play. And I think each part has, each instrument has a great part to play, So I love the piano and violin. I'm with her. I can actually just sit, listen to that violin all day. And
Are you a musician?
I am not, I am a self-styled musician. I think that I'm really good at music, but I'm not.
You're an appreciative.
Yeah, I do
Dante,
appreciate
we're
it.
going to depend on you and people like you, energetic, young people who want to get involved, to get the word out that the city's looking for the kind of people, those kind of folks to come help guide this city. So I would hope you would keep that in mind, not for necessarily the next few days, over the next several years.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
you look to help identify and develop some of those young leaders in the community and get them to get active in the city. Is that a deal?
Yeah, that's an awesome deal. That's kind of been my goal. I've been sharing with a lot of younger people that were like, hey, have you heard about the boards? Are you interested? It's like, we really got to get more involved. And it's just like, we've got to be able to, learn from them while they're still there versus kind of waiting until everyone transitions out. And then we don't get all the good jewels. I mean, I'm sure there's years of experience that you have and years of experience that I know Ms. Gonzalez has that she could share with us and give to us while she's still on the board. And she's like, hey, well, it's kind of what we did. And I was like, when we take basically you guys' triumphs And we take those triumphs and we carry them on our shoulders. Guess what? We're gonna go even further. Is that we have to meet the same setbacks that you guys went because we learn from them. We learn from you. So that's kind of how I envision a lot of those things and really just getting involved and just kind of being able to be there just to listen. And I know I don't have a lot of experience in some areas, but I still just want to learn and just see how it's done.
Thank you very much. Thank you for taking time to come be with us
I really
When you
appreciate
talk
you
to
guys.
Jennifer, tell her, thank you for sending you here.
Okay, I will.
Please do.
We've tried to remind everyone that we still have some more interviews left to do, a couple, at least another week. And then we'll probably have to come back together and try to sort it all out. So it'll be about 2 weeks before we get back with you. If that's okay. So don't think we've forgotten about you. We
All
just
right.
trying to get our work complete.
Definitely. I really appreciate you guys for giving me the opportunity. I thank you for calling me in for the interview. I really appreciate it.
We appreciate your.
Nice to meet you.
And your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, you guys have a great day.
You too.
And a good weekend.
All right.
Get
you
that
too.
jazz lounge going.
Okay. I will. That is the goal. All right, you guys, take care. Hey, how you been? How are you?
Sorry about the phone going off.
It's okay.
And then the text.
Oh, yes, sir.
Jonas, we're trying to send you. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
You're more than welcome to sit right there. If you can keep your mask on, or if you're comfortable, you may take it off.
Well, I don't have a problem wearing it, but I know sometimes it's a little bit harder to understand people.
Sure. So this way we get to see your smile.
Yes.
There you go.
Well, I'm Jessica Walker. Nice to see
I'm
you.
Wendell Williams.
I'm Judy Morales. Hi, and I'm Susan Long. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Okay, Jeremy, thank you for taking your time to come in and your interest. Really excited about all the people we've been meeting and interviewing for all these different boards. And we're asking the same
Absolutely.
question of everyone.
Sure.
So we just have 3 questions and then give you a chance to ask us questions if you have any.
Sure.
Just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in serving on this board.
Sure. So I've been working at Jurassic Real Estate, which my father founded in the 1990s, downtown on South First Street. I've worked with him since about 2003. I guess I got my license about 2008 or 9. So I've got about 13 years full-time working commercial real estate in Temple. We've had a emphasis on industrial, but we've worked pretty much any kind of real estate you can imagine. So worked for both private and public developers, as well as end users. I've worked some projects with different EDC leaderships over the years, going all the way back to the Gulf States Toyota deal that never really happened.
Have a thorn in our side.
Not to bring that up.
Yeah.
but,
No, you know what? How, it was something, my memory didn't work about that long,
Uh-huh.
but because that site didn't work,
Mhm.
there are other things there now that have brought more money than that one
Yeah.
project would have done.
Well, and it's funny, whether you gauge a project that's successful or not may change. Every few years, you might have said that was a good or bad thing,
That's true, absolutely true.
whether that was a
It was
good.
awful when
good or
it
bad.
happened, but in
Mhm.
retrospect, it has
Mhm.
turned out okay.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, kids.
Yeah, so personally, I've got a wife, Kimberly, who works for Starry Counseling that has an office here in Temple. I do have 2 kids. I've got a 6-month-old and about a 2.5-year-old.
Congratulations.
So,
A new one,
yeah.
born during COVID.
Yeah, the first one was this big event where all the family showed up, and the second one couldn't have been further
Much
from.
more intimate.
Yeah, so,
She or he only knows people with masks.
yeah, I mean, it's a weird time to be that age, I'm sure, for those kids. I've got a brother and sister-in-law that live here in Temple as well. They're both inpatient ICU pharmacists. Here at the cardiac ICU at the main Conway Hospital. And the four of us are partners on our first little investment, which is 212 West Adams, the little 2-story gray office building next to the Jack in the Box. And
Oh, yeah, that looks so nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking such good care of that.
Well, and we didn't remodel it. It was a colleague of mine that was also a commercial real estate agent, but who moved to Florida. And we bought the building when he moved. But it had kind of, even after he remodeled it, sat mostly empty the last year or two. And so my goal really was just to get a hold of the thing and find someone for it that would, you know, be of use to the community. So we leased it to Aware, which is a nonprofit. Previously was located right across from UMHB on Main Street in Belton. They were really close with the Temple Police Department, close enough that one of their employees just offices at the Temple Police Department. So that gets them a lot closer there. They do early intervention for at-risk families. So wasn't what I had imagined when we bought it, but we, you know, I would like to think it'll be a benefit to the community. So yeah.
That's good. The second question we have is what skills, talents, or experience would you like to bring? And sort of answered.
Kind of jumped into
Yeah.
that a little bit, but I think just working, you know, everything from residential and commercial industrial development for over 10 years now. I hope I can bring some insight into the market and sort of the end user or development perspective on some things.
Okay. You serve on any other boards?
No, I've never served on any other boards. I think when I applied, you know, I checked a few of the boxes, just willing to serve. Yeah. Main Street, we've got a business downtown and the building downtown. So I kind of checked a couple of the boxes there. And I've been attending a lot of the, I guess, subcommittee meetings, promotion committee downtown, you know, vitality and the design committee. At MRB, which was another one of our projects. So I've been working in those committees, but that's not the same thing as a board.
It was very, very good entree though.
Well,
Good knowledge.
I like to think so.
Yeah,
I
for
hope.
sure. I meant that seriously.
No, I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Is there anything particular you'd like to accomplish if you're a board member?
Well, and I think I kind of answered that too, but just hopefully bringing some market insight into the city. Kind of how sometimes the way we look at things is the same way that the city looks at things, whether that's good or bad, I don't know, but maybe a different perspective.
It's always good to have different ideas,
Mhm.
perspectives to consider. Anybody else have any questions?
I do not. You did a good job already.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for us?
No, I don't think so. Not at the time.
Okay. If you had to choose between this and Main Street, do you have one that you prefer over the other or just like to get plugged in?
I'm fine with either one, and in time I'd be fine with doing both. So wherever I can be of help, I'm happy to serve.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm flexible.
This process, did somebody explain? We're looking, this is the first time we've ever been through this process of setting up the boards and commissions with interviews. So the interviews are for everything that you had an interest in. We'll come back for further interviews. And we have 16 boards and commissions and 91 or 94 applicants across that we're looking at. We're talking to everybody over a 2-week period.
Yeah.
So it'll be 2+ weeks before you hear back from us, but you will hear back.
Okay. Absolutely.
Very pleased to have you.
Thank you for your interest in all that you're doing.
Well,
We're
thank you.
particularly pleased to have people that have not been on boards and commissions before express interest and bring some new people in. Very much so.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate that. Good to hear.
Thank you very much.
And you.
Have a good week.
Yeah.
Because it is Friday, no matter what.
It's Friday.
It is. It is. I've got some friends in town from Corpus Christi, so we don't get to see too much. So I'm gonna go buy some steaks and go over grill.
Oh,
What time we
good.
start?
Good one.
That could be
My
it.
wife happens to be out of town this weekend, and I ain't available.
We'll all be there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your friends.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye.